gotta change that.
Good morning. I'm forecaster Jimmy O'Neill from the KMET Weather Center. For the Beaumont and the Banning area for your daytime hours, sunshine through the day, highs are in the 80s. For the daytime hours in the IE region, there'll be sunshine, highs in the lower 80s. And for the afternoon hours in the Coachella Valley, sunshine through the afternoon, highs at 100 degrees. I'm forecaster Jimmy O'Neill for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. Good to have you on today's show. We've got some things to talk about. We've got Jesse Sanchez over there kind of looking at the headlines. What's going on, Jesse?
Oh, yes, yes. I actually laughed at this one. Did you hear about the tunnel that was found in Tijuana to San Diego?
I'm not going to lie. Hold up. There's a tunnel leading from San Diego to Tijuana.
Yeah, so
apparently,
Tijuana,
right?
Tijuana. So
I'm
U.S.
thinking it's tequila right now. I'm not going to lie.
So U.S. authorities on Monday announced the discovery of a major drug smuggling tunnel on Mexico's border, running the length of a football field on U.S. soil to a warehouse in an industrial area. The secret passage from Tijuana to San Diego featured rail and ventilation systems, electricity, reinforced walls. Wow, they're getting really up with this. It was discovered near San Diego's Otay Mesa border crossing in an area where more than a dozen other sophisticated tunnels have been found in the last 2 decades. Wow, they're just like little mole rats, aren't they?
Yeah, evidently. Well, and you know what I say about that? I say, okay, who tunneled first? Was it, right? Did we tunnel first or did they tunnel first? And who's doing the tunneling? And are we there yet with the Elon Musk tunnel of the future, right? Like, he could hire some people.
Right? I mean, let's see. U.S. authorities said it is unknown how long the tunnel had been operating and what the amount of drugs, if any, got through. Cocaine, meth, all the bad stuff. 6 people ages 31 to 45 were charged conspiring to distribute cocaine. Of course, all our Southern California residents. We need those jobs. The tunnel is in one of the most fortified stretches of the border, illustrating the limitations of former President Donald Trump's border wall. Yeah, because we could just dig under them.
Well, remember that was kind of the thing. It was all about like the big wall, right? He was like putting all that money into the wall, right? And I get it. There were portions of the border which were pretty like nothing was going on, but people were like, well, it's not hard to go over a wall and or under, right? But I will say this: for any country to be safe, you have to have at least kind of like a how do I say? You got to know who's going back and forth, right? Like I'll give you an example between California and Arizona and Nevada and New Mexico and or Texas, there's usually like a little border crossing, right? Sometimes they do agricultural, sometimes they do other things. And from state to state, sometimes criminals go from state to state in the U.S., right? So in every state, there's usually, depending on what portion that you go, like if you go on a main highway, like the 10 freeway going east, you're going to come across usually authorities from one state to another, right? And that's helpful if like you kidnap somebody, right? Or if you, I don't know, there's a host of things I can think of because they have cameras on the vehicle, and they can like pull up your info really quick, right? And that's good for people kind of fleeing the country, or from state to state, right? But when it comes to like Canada and or Mexico, you kind of want to have some protection there. But at the same time, these tunnels are nothing new. It's something that they've talked about for quite some time, but they've been around for a while, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. These tunnels have been around for decades, but Yeah, no, they're getting sophisticated with the reinforced walls, the air conditioning. Next, they're gonna have like a mini bar and like a little rest area, like in between, and be like, "Oh, we've gotten so far. Let's take a rest," and then make it the rest of the way.
But there are some businesses that actually profit on that sort of thing. There's one I remember seeing. You ever watch like those shows where they talk about oh god, they talk about like the okay, like off the grid living, and there's one that has like a huge hotel place, which is like hundreds of thousands of dollars per unit underneath the ground, in the event like of a disaster, like in the event of a bomb, or in the event of like nuclear, or in the event of something, right? And there's underground, like, I'd call them living spaces, right? Um, so maybe they should do that, Jesse. What do you think?
Like underground homes.
Yeah, right. And they could tunnel back and forth using like cocaine and meth and what are the other drugs they sometimes go back and forth with? I'm pretty sure they could turn over a new leaf. What do you think?
Oh my God, I just had a giant vision of like, what if they end up turning into mole people and they have like a giant like civilization down there? That'll be pretty crazy. But it'd be kind of cool to live underground because you know what? You wouldn't have to worry about the heat.
There you go. When you said air conditioning, like underneath, I said, you know what, these are smart people. Big shout out to Elia Esparza, who's tuning in on social media. We love you, Elia. Been a while since we've seen you. We'd love to see you again. Mark Blevins tuning in. We appreciate you as well. Stephanie Reed says, hello, happy editing this glorious sunshine, Austin, for today. For today. Okay, I got to do a quick little plug, Jesse. I hope you don't mind. It's the book here. It's going to be available to everyone this coming Thursday on BarnesandNoble.com. Okay, it's called A Butterfly Story, and it's a page turner. I've already had a few people actually read it all the way through. At first, they go, "Wait a minute, it's a little longer than a typical kid's story." It's a little, it's a good read, but it gets you all the way through, and it has a little emotional turn at the end. And I think it's a good one to kind of, it's the first of many. There's the butterfly. There's a couple other forest creatures, I'll call them, that all kind of do the right thing for each other and help each other out. You never think about what a caterpillar goes through when a caterpillar is born right in the middle of the wood and doesn't have a mommy. So what does a little caterpillar do when you need a mommy, especially when you need to be protected, right? So nobody thinks about a caterpillar, and nobody ever says to a caterpillar, "You're a caterpillar, you're going to be a butterfly one day," right? I mean, do you know anybody that does that, Jesse? Imagine, no one ever thinks about that, right? As a little baby, you're taken care of, and you have a mommy and or a daddy, but you don't think you're going to grow old one day, right?
No, thank you for putting that thought in my head. I was gonna be my age forever.
But at least you have a mommy, right? What about the little orphans of the world? So it's got a little nod of those that kind of are among all of us that need a mommy and or a daddy that are good. And then there's a story about a mommy butterfly who had her wing torn, and because she had her wing torn, she is wondering what to do next. So she says, "I'm old, I'm gray, I'm old, I'm gray, I'm old, I'm gray. I need to," because she just basically got it torn by another bad butterfly. So there's good butterflies and there's bad butterflies. So maybe I should call him Batterflies, because he basically is mean to her and batters her. Well, anyway, you got to read the story. It's a very good story. It's a rhyme, and it's coming out Thursday. So I'm super excited about it. If you want a copy of it or a signed copy, let me know. Message me, chat in the area below, and we could talk about it. All right, lots of news coming out. We're going to take a quick little break here. We're going to regroup on that, and then we'll think about the tunnel situation. We'll think about, how everything's kind of going next level. Oh, and another book's coming out, too. By the way, got to plug this ahead of time. Two Men in Your Business with Jesse Torres and myself. We met yesterday. We talked about how we can get at least 3 books out about business, because financials are off significantly for businesses, and a lot of people are going, how do we revamp? And some people aren't even going that way. They're just barely trying to make ends meet. So we're going to be talking about that around the corner. So I'm excited about that. That'll probably come about 3 to 4 weeks as a release. So we've been talking about it for quite some time. He and I had a show for a while. It was called Money Talk with Jesse Torres, and we met a lot of entrepreneurs and business people, and we did a little speaking gig for a company in Florida, and then we did a couple other things as well. And so we've been asked to do some speaking. So if you know an area that can do really well with business advice, he and I have been doing some pretty cool stuff in the past. So we're kind of regrouping and seeing what we could do next. So super excited about that. Anyway, okay, so before we get back, just type in where you're tuning in from. I know Jesse's tuning in from Riverside. You're tuning in from wherever you're tuning in from. I know Stephanie Reed's tuning in from Ohio, and Rosalie's tuning in from where's Rosalie at, Jesse? Is she in
Rosalie
Fremont or Downey?
No, I think you're getting her confused. She's in the Fresno area.
Wasn't she in Downey at one point? I thought she was in...
No, I think you're getting somebody else mixed up.
Okay, sorry, Rosalie. I thought you were in Downey at one point. Anyway, okay, so we appreciate you all. We'll be right back with more after these messages.
When you want the best performance for your vehicle, think only of Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont, right off the I-10 and 60 freeways. Check out Scott's complete list of performance products on their website at hdrinfo.com. Scott's Headers and Mufflers can recommend ways for your car or truck to get better gas mileage and cut down on emissions. Need your car or truck to pass smog only? Go to Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont. Find out all of your questions on vehicle performance by logging on to hdrinfo.com. Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont, hdrinfo.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state? Did you miss sending out a prior year tax return? The IRS is out to collect now more than ever, and they'll use any means necessary. They legally can and will garnish your wages, take your money, and even seize your property. If you're behind on your taxes, call the Tax Relief Hotline right now at 951-224-9000. That's 951-224-9000. 951-224-9000. You can legally get your tax debt under control, and in many cases, get the breathing room you need. Garnished wages, property seizures, bank levies can stop immediately, but you have to call. Many of our specialists are IRS enrolled agents. They know the system and how to make it work for you. Don't wait for the IRS to come down on you. Act now so you can get your tax debt under control. Call the Riverside office today for free info at 951-224-9000. That's 951-224-9000. 951-224-9000.
Tried shipping a package lately? It's amazing how difficult and time-consuming it can be. Packing envelopes, boxes, second-day ground, next-day air, it's all enough to give you a headache. Next time, do yourself a favor. Go with the pros at the UPS store in Beaumont. They'll pack it right and let you know all your shipping options. You can also take care of everyday tasks like copies, faxing, notary services, and live scan fingerprinting. And while you're there, pay your Edison, gas company, and Verizon bills. Open extended hours Monday through Saturday. The UPS store in Beaumont, located in the Oak Valley Plaza at 1440 Beaumont Avenue. Call 951-769-5956. That's 951-769-5956. Online at the upsstorelocal.com/5027 or Google 5027.
Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. However you actually tune in to our show, we appreciate you. We know we have the radio, which is always very dependable in the event of an emergency, and so we appreciate you for listening on that. And a lot of vehicles have some smart apps as well. If you have Alexa in your vehicle, you can always tune in. Just say, Alexa, I want to listen to KMET 1490 AM, and then you can check out all our great programming. I know we got a lot of great programming today. What else do we got, Jesse? I know we've got the Southern California, I want to say business report show, right?
Yes, that is later today. After our show, we have Here's to Your Health, which always gets down with health stuff about your body and whatnot. After that, we have Talk with Audrey. She always talks about various things, so you got to tune in to find out.
Yeah. We got Dave Ramsey at 11. National show. We love that guy, and I think people need to listen to that because, like I say, people are wondering how they're going to pay down their debt. So we got a lot of questions about that. There is some reports here, and I'm not going to go into a long-winded speech as I've done a couple times about the virus. But I will say this. People are kind of becoming a little bit more aware than they used to be about coronavirus, right? Here's a couple headlines, Jesse. For example, here's one: how often can a person be infected with coronavirus? What's your answer?
Um, I don't know, multiple times. I have no idea.
Yeah, any given time. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And any given variant, right? You're not immune. And one said, yeah, it's actually for me a bit of a surprise because it said with all these talks about, infections and being like herd immunity and all this stuff, I guess people thought they'd be ahead of it. They're not ahead of it with all the new variants. Here's another headline: scientists fear the future of COVID variants and reinfection. So they're calling reinfection a thing when in reality it's kind of been a thing. I've had a few friends get the virus at least more than once. So sometimes they'll survive both. Sometimes the second one will be the one to do them in. So that's happened recently. Here's another headline: I was vaxxed, masked, and careful, yet still caught COVID-19. We can't let our guard down. A columnist, Wanda Lloyd, said at a moment of weakness, it sickened her. She says, don't let your guard down on protections. And that's true. That's why I say, get your look, whether it's encouraged or mandated or said to help you out, it's not an end all be all. Okay, these masks are not end all be alls. Okay, it doesn't mean you can't get sick. You still can get sick. It's not 100% proof. You have to be in a bubble, as Josie has often said, in order to be not sick at all, right? But it's better than a hospital bill. It's better than long haul COVID. It's better than nothing at all. If somebody had, I used to say this because it was true. If you had to babysit a little one who was like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, and they have the flu and it's the stomach flu, do you want to wear this or not? I would say yes. A lot of moms say, well, I'll get it eventually, right? A lot of family members like, we're going to get it. We all get it. But I'm like, no. And especially like if they have laryngitis, do you think I want laryngitis for the show? I don't think so. So I'd rather wear one of these and reduce my chances. Is it 100% proof? No, nothing's 100% proof other than a bubble. But, that is what it is. So I saw another report how numbers are up. Hospital numbers are up. They said deaths are low. That's a good thing. But, whenever you have hospitals up in the event that you have a problem or a situation or you're driving not carefully and you get a emergency called, somebody hits you from behind and then all of a sudden your car's pretty much done for, you're going to probably go to the hospital to take care of that. So you want a hospital bed ready for you for anything, right? So that's kind of the question of the day, what's going to happen next? And I say just be aware of what's happening and then look at the world scene like this headline: North Korea's COVID crisis is quickly spiraling out of control. Officials say more than 1.4 million people are now suffering. Now, a lot of people go, yeah, but that's North Korea. They're like in a bubble of their own, right?
Pretty much they're in their own little bubble, but if the disease is in the bubble, then yeah, you're not safe.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't want to be in that bubble because they're kind of cut off from the rest of the world. And you know what? Some think they're completely cut off. I think just like the tunnel from Mexico to California, it's not hard to get out if you know how to get out, right? And then there's people that do travel, so they're not as isolated as people think. They're not like caveman days. You know what I mean? They're very sophisticated. You wonder, well, how do they get all of those like missiles in and out? How do they manufacture? How do they get all of that? I say Russia, but other people don't really talk about that. But anyway, yeah, they're definitely looking at stuff and they're paying attention. So I hope they come full center and say, we need the help of the rest of the world. We need to get ahead of this. We need to help our people, and then hopefully they won't, because by some estimates, 30 to 40% may die in North Korea if they don't get the help that they need because they got the worst yet. So yeah. All right, people. Oh, and then there was this update. Remember the lady? I know we didn't talk about it last week because, I'm trying to do this book tour, so I went to Arizona. So if you guys have, and I want to do a shout out to Algenia, who says Fulton County Library for your book and speaking engagement. Let me talk to my girl. Have contact you. Yeah, just give me their information, and I'm assuming that's in Georgia, which is good because I wanted to come out to Georgia. So yeah, if we could set that up, that'd be awesome. And then I just gotta have them kind of get the book or me bring the book. I got to figure that out and figure out how many people are going to come out. But yeah, if you have an area and you have I had a teacher say, hey, I have a library here. We could put your book here. Oh, and I had a post. I'm going to say this really quick before I go on to the other news headlines on Twitter. follow me on Twitter. I'm going to bring up this guy's comment because I really appreciated this, because he actually took the time to listen to my second book that's coming out soon as well. And he said this. It's called A Good Man. I talked about it on the show, and it's about two brothers that actually are, I hate to say the word, but I'm going to have to say it, hurt in the head, okay, by their bad dad or bad man, father, right? Abusive man, right, is what I wanted to call it, but I didn't think anybody would call it, or nobody would want to like call in and say, hey, I want to order Abusive Man as a book, so I called it A Good Man, because I think A Good Man is a better title than Abusive Man, right? But he's an abusive man, and they have to kind of like suffer for it, right? So between they and their ma, or they're and their mother, they kind of figure it out if as much as they can. But it's a real story about something that happened. So big shout out to Wolftastic Books, also known as Gizmo on Twitter. Retweeted his tweet, so if you guys could support, follow me and retweet that as well. He said, listen to A Good Man by Aaron M. Sanchez. The author is looking for an organization to collaborate with. Any suggestions, please leave a comment. And then he said this, the subject of violence is not an easy subject to write about, and to make it understandable for children. Well done. And he just heard the first like few pages. He didn't even see the whole book, which is also coming out soon. So, yeah, these that is kind of like, because it's like a rhyme, it's done in a way where it's kind of, it's not as heavy as some other books are, right? But it makes it all right for kids to say, yeah, I know of someone who gets hit in the head, right? So that's what we need to call attention to, because we don't want it silent anymore, right? We want to call it out, have the authorities take care of the situation, lock up the person, and then the person gets help. Otherwise, they don't get help. They just say they want help, but they never get help. And then people in the family are the ones to suffer. And then worst case scenario, we see on the end result of news, you know, families are like, did you see the one in Irvine? I still don't know what happened there, where the whole family was like dead.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you didn't see that? It was like a big thing. It was in the Irvine area, and I think it was a family of 3.
Honestly, I get everything mixed up. There's some murders and things every day. It's just, I get them so mixed up, and it's sad when every time I read it, because it's just like, what the heck is going on with it in the world?
Yeah, here it is. Family of 3 found dead in possible Irvine murder suicide. Yeah, you know, and then I know, and then we saw one recently where the mother hurt her 3 kids. You know what I mean? You're kind of like, and that's worst case scenario. But I'm like, what is the prelude to it? What is the situation up until then? Why did nobody take advantage of the situation ahead of time to say, hey, these people need help? And or did anybody know what to say? Or were they all quiet about it, right? Because some people get these things happening and don't say anything because they don't know what to say. They don't know who to turn to, right? And usually it's the little kids of the world, right? So I say, be aware of the kids, be aware of the violence that sometimes happens at homes. And if you see something and you're in school and you're a teacher and or a librarian or, you know, an authority that can help someone out, then know what to do next, right? Because some think their hands are tied. And in some cases, the hands are tied if the family don't come full circle and say, hey, he abuses us. So that's kind of what the story is. Now, back to the other thing I was going to bring up, which is kind of important. There are things happening in the world. Oh, that's what it was. Remember the woman. We didn't get to talk about this, but we're kind of like, what kind of lady does all that work, gets far ahead in her job, and then lets a guy out, 6'9", true, gets the guy out, gets him all the way out, flees, and then kills herself in the end? What? Like, what's going on there, Jesse?
Wait, what story are we talking about? We're talking about the guard that slept with the prisoner?
Well, I don't know if she slept with the prisoner.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if they went that far. I mean, I don't. Huh? You think they did?
I'm pretty sure to do all that you have to do it. But yeah, so she died?
Yeah, she. Oh, you didn't see that?
I read a lot of news. Sometimes I
Got it.
just
Okay, you need to get caught up. Okay, yeah. Okay, for the update for those tuning in, so far loved ones are gathering at the graveside services for Vicky White. All right, that's interesting. The woman who died by suicide in a tragic conclusion to the nationwide manhunt. She was 56. She was laid to rest Saturday at the Center Hill Cemetery in Alabama, miles from where she allegedly helped. Which, come on, allegedly helped charged murderer Casey White. Remember, no relation. That was that story. The big guy that got out of prison. That one, Jesse. Do you remember it now?
I do now remember it. So she killed herself after that makes no sense.
Yeah, I know it didn't, but it is the thing. Casey White's escape set off a massive search and ended with a car crash on May 9th in Evansville, Indiana, in which Casey White was captured. That's the dude, of course. Wait, yeah, she's Vicky White. He's Casey White. See the confusion there? Because, they could be cousins. Who knows? Let's see. Was captured, and the former assistant director of corrections was found with a gun in her hand and a reportedly self-inflicted gunshot wound. Vicky White succumbed to her injuries after being transported to Deaconess Hospital. Vicky White's obituary gave little details about her life. Oh, that's sad, man. That is not how you want to go out, trust me. Other than she came from Lexington, Alabama, and worked at the jail from which Casey White went missing. Are they changing the story? They can't change the story. People need to know what happened. Look, this lady did wrong. She let the guy out. It was pretty much proven they had a relationship. He played at her heartstrings. She let him out, and then she suffered for it because, hello, now you're a fugitive with the guy you let out. They dumped the car. They did all that, right? And then she went ahead and shot herself? I don't get this lady. I mean, I look, if I could have intervened on her behalf, I would have said, what do you think you're doing? But I don't think anybody could have gotten to her. And there's some women that are like this. You know what I mean, Jesse?
I'm pretty sure she thought she can change him. But
exactly. Those are the women that you go, what are you thinking? You can't change the guy. They don't change.
I feel bad for her. I mean, God. We all knew she was gonna end up dead. You even were like, yeah, she's probably gonna die by him.
I did. I thought that. I thought he was gonna do her in because when I read that he was, he had promised to do in his ex, which I think he was in prison for, of 2015, right? And so anybody that's ready to do in your ex, what do you think is going to happen to the new lady eventually when he gets mad, right? But anyway, according to this, one woman said this, and I guess they're looking for the good part of it. Says, you were an amazing woman. It was an honor to work with you for all these many years. You are now with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm not sure what Jesus would say about the situation. And when our Savior sees it fit and time is right, you will be back in the loving arms of your beloved Casey once again. Wait, what? Casey's the dude she went off with. What is this lady talking about? Authorities say Vicky White had a romantic relationship with Casey White, who was awaiting trial for the 2015 murder of Connie Ridgway. Oh, that's what it was. Alabama law classifies sexual contact with an inmate by an employee as custodial sexual misconduct, a Class C felony. On April 29th, Vicky White, who was working on her last day at the jail before retirement, told coworkers she was taking the inmate for a mental health evaluation before the two vanished. There was reportedly no such appointment for Casey White. Wait. So this friend said, don't worry about it. One day you'll be back and you get to talk to the man who you let out of prison? People, you guys are not understanding, okay? This guy's a bad guy. He was going to kill his ex. He already committed murder. You don't go oh, I can't wait till, the Lord Savior reunites you with your man who you love. What's this lady thinking? I don't get this woman. Seriously, I don't understand him. Anyway, a GoFundMe page created by Alabama radio host Mark White. What is it with this name? Everybody's got the White last name, Jesse. I get our name. Well, I guess, you know what? We're Sanchez with no relation. They're going to have to say that. If you go missing or if I go missing, remember, we're not related. Okay, Jesse?
Right. Yeah. Oh my God, Sanchez. I heard this Sanchez is like a super common name back in the days when it was being passed out. Kind of like how
it is. It's a mix between a Spaniard and a Mexican. So
yeah,
Sanchez comes kind of around the world. So Sanchez is very, very common. So whenever I meet a Sanchez, I go, no relation, right? But there you go. So I guess White is a pretty common. So yeah, I guess they set this up. Let's see. The man who called in the tip leading to the dramatic conclusion of the manhunt is car wash owner. Oh! Remember they had a reward to like get these two locked up. He's going to cash in really good. James Stinson is the one who reported it. So I don't know how this actually goes. Let's see. Mark White, a family friend who has long advocated justice for murder victim Connie Ridgway. Oh! I should have finished it. Created the GoFundMe page with Ridgway's family to raise money for a reward for James Stinson. Oh, I got it now. I got it. In order to get these people locked up and to say, hey, don't forget the victim, right? Because let's say you were attacked, Jesse, or not even you, because you're pretty tough. Let's say you had like a sister, okay, and your sister was attacked by a guy. He got put in prison, and then he gets out from another person who is a guard at the correctional facility, gets him out. What are you gonna hope for at the end of the day?
Oh yeah.
Okay, other than that.
Okay. You know what? I don't know. They should. I'll be like, let's have let's go to a fighting ring. Let's go in the thing. Let's get our anger out without like killing each other. I mean, it's okay to be angry at people. It's not okay to hit them without their permission or like stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it's really bad, I'd probably take it to a dark place. But that's just me.
Well, okay. So this guy, Mark White, helped raise money for the situation so that they can have reward money if somebody reported these two, and that's evidently what happened. So someone's going to cash in on that, so that's good. He was one of many who expressed sadness over the passing. He says, from day one, we have sought justice and will continue to do so. Life is so precious and has value. Connie's life mattered, and Vicky's life mattered too. Casey White was serving. The guy got out, right? Look, he's being put back in prison, and there's another dead person, right? Namely the one that helped him out. Hopefully, other guards know the situation. Maybe he just needs to be locked up by, like, guy guards, because I don't think guy guards would have let this happen. He's obviously a charmer, you know what I mean, Jesse? Like, he knows how to sway the lady, you know what I mean?
Right. Obviously, we need to get him a male prisoner or, I don't know, something. Yeah, I don't know.
A male guard, yeah.
Or a robot guard.
Hey, even better. It says, life is so precious, has value. Connie's life matter. So he was serving a 75-year sentence following a 2015 crime spree that included a home invasion, 2 carjackings, again, for a big guy. He's 6'9", man. And multiple shootings that left a dog dead. He killed a dog, Jesse? Did this girl not do her background check on this guy while she was dating him in prison, Jesse?
Nope. If you hurt an animal, there's no coming back from that. Because if you hurt something that can't defend themselves and stuff, no. He deserves to be in jail. Put him in solitaire.
Exactly. We're more concerned about the dog than the lady. So sad. It's like movies. Have you ever seen movies where like in John Wick? For no one that's seen John Wick, I mean, see the movie. But, who does that to a dog? Okay, we got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more right after these messages. Oh, boy, Miss White, you got something in your head. You got to get it out. That's bad mentality.
Get up to the minute forecast and temperatures for Beaumont, Banning, Redlands, Palm Springs, your community, national or international cities, on KMET's website, KMET1490am.com. The station now features AccuWeather. AccuWeather offers weekend and extended forecasts, along with the latest radar map and current conditions. AccuWeather on KMET1490am.com. Log in every morning for your daily forecast.
Your pharmacy and mobility solutions is now Beaumont Pharmacy with a new location at the Sundance Corporate Center. That's at the corner of Highland Springs and 8th in Suite 110. Of course, they still have Pack Your Meds. No more counting out the pills, dropping them on the floor. Oh, what a mess. And they have a full selection of pharmaceutical CBD. Wheelchairs, over-the-counter meds, you name it, they've got it. So if you're looking for the best and you want the best pharmacy, you go to Beaumont Pharmacy at their new location, 835 North Highland Springs, Beaumont Avenue in Beaumont, California, Suite 110. Give them a call, 951-845-8252.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
What is commitment and why is it so hard to achieve? The new book, Committed, by Dr. Carmen Hara and Alexandra Hara, will make you reevaluate the way you think about love. Committed is a relationship manual that unfolds in 2 parts: the work you need to perform on the inside and the 7 distinct archetypes you'll encounter on the outside. Committed, a new book available on Amazon by Dr. Carmen Hara and Alexandra Hara, will help to find and keep the love you deserve. Committed, available now on Amazon.
The staff and families at Custom Care Solutions Caregivers take this time out to recognize and salute the Palm Desert men and women in uniform, standing tall for our political and economic freedoms around the world. Let's always remember them in our thoughts and prayers. Their efforts abroad and our support have kept America strong. That message was courtesy of your good friends at Custom Care Solutions Caregivers, 42201 Beacon Hill in Palm Desert. They're always working to keep our community moving in a positive direction.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. On this show, we talk a lot of stuff, right? A lot of news, a lot of information, a lot of stories, a lot of fun, a lot of weird, a lot of, stuff that kind of make your head go, huh. And this story, Jesse, I'm not going to lie, I'm actually happy it's finally coming out. Our good friend, the Latino cyber guy, Jose Yoa, who usually does his glamping series and or travel series and or device series, is actually on location right now. We should have him call it, be like, dude, what's happening? But he's actually at an event. It's actually being featured by CNN as well. He posted this. He says, would you tell if you saw one? And he posted UFOs over LA County. He's listening to the U.S. Congress House of Foreign Affairs security investigation. He says they're going to go over the hearing later today. And then he says, fun fact, in Downey, Long Beach, they have the record for the most sightings. Now, I will say this, Jesse. We're at a time where I feel it's exciting because now you could say it and not feel weird about it. I've never said if I've ever seen anything, but I posted on his, and go follow him. He's at the Latino cyber guy. I said I don't, but I should now, right? Would you say if you saw a UFO? I think we're living at a time that now government is finally saying, instead of being like, oh, it's a weather balloon or it's a aircraft of some other origin, now they're finally admitting things. And here's the news headline, Jesse, and I kid you not. And I think now people are going to be a little bit easier, like to be able to say, you know what, yeah, I've seen something I cannot explain. Key lawmaker warns at the UFO hearing, unidentified aerial phenomena are a potential national security threat. Key lawmakers warned at the House hearing today that unidentified aerial phenomena, popularly known as UFOs, must be investigated and taken seriously as a potential threat to national security. The event marked the first congressional public hearing on UFOs in decades. It's a high-profile moment for a controversial topic that has long been relegated to the fringes of public policy. Many lawmakers and intelligence and military personnel working on unexplained aerial phenomena, also known as UAPs, they renamed them, but basically I call them UFOs. The bigger concern with the episodes is not that alien life is visiting Earth, although it should, but rather that a foreign adversary like Russia or China might be fielding some kind of next-generation technology in American airspace that the U.S. doesn't know about. Now, I will say this. There's no reason for them to investigate L.A., all right? But L.A., in the last year and a half, has probably had the most amount of sightings by people that honestly didn't want to say anything, but were like, why is that looking like it's landing and why is it silent? How come it's not a regular helicopter? What is that thing I'm seeing? What is that orb I'm seeing? Some have seen red orbs, some have seen blue orbs, some have seen other orbs. So if you've seen anything in the LA area, you're not alone, okay? I will say this. This stuff is coming out, and I'm glad it is coming out because I'm not going to lie. I've kept silent on some things that I've seen, and I've seen things like I took some video on one thing, and it kind of like changed its like height and like width of itself. It looked like some would be like, that's maybe a balloon, but why is it stationary? Why does it not blow away? Right? So it's kind of like some things are kind of like, what's going on? But this is actually really good. I'm glad that, lawmakers are looking at this, and they're finally kind of admitting to some of the stuff that has been in our skies here in LA. I don't know if you see these things in Riverside or San Bernardino, Jesse, but if you look at the sky, usually during the day, and you keep like on something, sometimes you can figure it out. Even at night, I took some pictures of some things at night. I go, huh, but I never publicize them because I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? Crazy man. You know what I mean, Jesse?
Oh, no. I know what you mean totally. Like there were times where I would be outside and I would just stare at the stars. I would see something slowly moving, but I would always bring it down to a satellite because it is possible to see them with the naked eyes.
Or some people go, oh, maybe it's a drone, right? But I will say the fact that government is meeting on this subject is a good nod to say it's serious. Now, is the Navy aware of the subject? Oh, yeah. Anderson Cooper and a couple other very big show hosts were like, we're really talking about this? Because at first they kind of scoffed at it. And then like days later, they're like, oh, this is really serious. What's his name? Cuomo. Cuomo covered it on his show. Again, CNN. And so now it's kind of not that. Look, I listen to late night shows, and on the radio there's one called Coast to Coast, right? And they cover everything. They cover phenomenon. They cover all kinds of stuff. If you haven't heard it, I like to listen to it when I'm driving late because I want to stay awake, and it challenges my mind. They have people call in about stuff, and you go, okay, or people with authors about this subject. But you always have that little thing in the back of your head going, crazy, right? But I think we've been conditioned to think they're crazy until you finally see it yourself. And then you go, what's going on? And I say this. At the end of the day, nobody asks why. Now, okay, let's say it's government related. Okay, let's say it's Russia, right? Or China. And that's always the spew that they throw. But at the end of the day, Russia and China are not that advanced yet. Okay, they're just not advanced to have certain aerial phenomenon be as like stealth-like as these things are. And they usually group up 1, 2, 3 different ones like in a row, and or you'll see one and then you see another one in the same path. And you're like, that's not a plane. That's something else. And again, smart people will look at it, but there's an investigation. It's actually really cool. And I saw it the other day. It's on Vudu, VUDU, right? It's a channel, or it's actually a program. And I thought, I need to watch this. I showed it to my mom because my mom was like, huh. And it had William Shatner in it. It's a new one. And what they do is they look at the skies over the Pacific Ocean, and they use all kinds of different like infrared and other devices to see the skies and say, what are we seeing here? So I think this is a good nod to that, right? But it's a very interesting documentary, and it's called, I think, A Tear in the Sky. That's what it's called. So if you see it anytime soon, you should check it out. We should have her on the show. Carolyn Corey, okay? It's here's the heading. It came out May 2nd, so it's very, very new, right? It just came out a couple weeks ago, and it looks really good, by the way. And again, they have William Shatner's just kind of like a guest appearance of it. He's not, he's kind of like, what did you guys discover? But the director, here's the headline: A Tear in the Sky takes you on an unprecedented journey into the UFO or UAP phenomenon with a team of military personnel, scientists, and special guest William Shatner uses state-of-the-art military-grade equipment, and they look at the sky over the Pacific Ocean here locally. So they kind of go back and forth between kind of the west coast of LA and Catalina, right? Catalina Island. So, and they're looking at the skies of like, that's not normal, so they have all these like devices to prove the science of what are we looking at. So I'm excited to say, yay, finally, because now I can not be as silent as I have been, because I've seen some things I go, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually showed my mom one, and I was like, do you see that? And she's like, yeah. I go, just so you know, just make a note of it, because these things are gonna come out eventually. And I feel in the next 3 to 4 years, we're going to be very obvious about it. Now, there's always going to be those ones that say, no, it's not a thing, whatever. But when government meet about this, and these are lawmakers meeting on this, they're saying, look, why are they in the skies? Now, have they ever been in the skies of LA? Not as many as they have for the last year and a half. And I thought, at least at first, I'm like, maybe it's in my head, whatever. So I kind of dismissed it, but I kept looking up at the skies because I saw things I couldn't explain. And I finally took out my camera on one of these things, and I said, okay, that's unexplainable, but all right, whatever. And so here's my thing. Will something come out in the next year and a half? I don't know. But if you know something in the sky and you have been quiet about it, now's the time to become a little bit more vocal about it. Because in other areas of like the U.S., it's very common. Like Nevada, it's very common to see aerial phenomena. But people always say, oh, that's them testing like certain aircraft or specific aircraft, right? But when it made CNN, Cuomo, I said, and they did like a week and a half of coverage, and military people or Navy were talking about it and saying, no, we see these things all the time. We're just not allowed to speak about it. You kind of go, yeah, that's just, that's fake. That's not real. But at the end of the day, they're all concerned about it because they're all here. So the question is, and I've always asked this question, if they're here, why are they here? There were some documentaries I saw which was very interesting, and it said this: whenever there's like a war or there are people trying to destroy each other, they're here to monitor the situation. I never thought of it that way, right? Because if they have advanced, this is the problem with us as beings, right? Okay, let's just throw out all of what you know, and just for a minute, okay? The universe is old, yeah, Jesse?
Yes, most definitely.
Okay. What came before the universe?
Good question. Maybe a universe before that.
Perfect, you got it, okay? Now, a lot of people I've been asking this of, they go, and I go, look, think about it. The world that you're on is how old? They go, I don't know, billions of years, trillions of years, zillions of years. I do not know. Yeah, what you just said. So, but okay, we have one universe of many. Now, the telescopes, like the one that you talked about, what's the telescope that you talked about that's really neat?
The James Webb Telescope.
Yeah, the James Webb Telescope sees beyond like what we see currently with the Hubble telescope. So the science of that's really exciting for like astronomers and people that kind of go, huh? And then you can see so far, you can see other planets even closer and more pristine, not like all like bitmappy, right? like they used to be. Which recently they discovered a black hole in our Milky Way galaxy. Jesse, did you see that news?
I did see it. They finally took a picture of the black hole in our what is it, in the Milky Way? Yeah.
In our galaxy, we're part of the Milky Way galaxy. That's what they name it, right? So my point is this. I had this discussion with my my friends and even my mom once, and I said, look, whether you believe in anything at all, right? Whether you're Christian, whether you're Catholic, whether you're Buddhist, whether you're, of any faith, you have to ask the question, what if you're not the most advanced species out there? What if there were this Earth is kind of new in the cosmos of things, right? If you look at all the other galaxies, do they all come about at the same time? Have they been alive before? What if there's an advanced civilization that kind of figured it out? And if they have the type of technology to have stealth, really cool like aircraft and like orbs and all kinds of neat stuff, if they're here, they could destroy us easily. But why do they all have different aircraft, right? And if they do have different aircraft, what are they monitoring? Are they monitoring us to monitor the world? Are they wanting to take it over? I think if they wanted to take over, they would have already taken over, right? Are they trying to keep us safe? Are they the police of the galaxies? And they're like, hey, okay, and I hate to say this because this always dumbs it down, but I'm going to say this. In Star Trek, they have a first contact situation where they go, they're not advanced yet. And what if we're that not advanced species yet? And they're waiting for us to get to that next level to say, okay, people, just so you know, you're not the only ones around. And it doesn't discredit that there's a God or a faith, because at the end of the day, if they were to die or the spacecraft ends up in the ocean, or you want to think about something that keeps you living beyond life, right? So I would have that question of certain like other beings of other species of other Earths, right, or other planets, and I would say, what happens when you die? What do you think? What's your belief, right? What is the thing that you think happens? You know what I mean? And see if they even say something like, we never thought about that, right? But I think just like, we on the Earth, we have different languages. They have different languages. You just have to figure out how to communicate. So the question I have at the end of the day, and this is going to be a big story, by the way, Jose Ulloa is not the only one covering it. You'll see it in national headlines as well. It's a concern because here in LA, there have probably been more sightings in the past year and a half than ever before. You've never seen this many sightings. Usually you'll see them in the desert. I've never talked about this, but up in the high desert, I used to see a lot of like things I couldn't explain. And I'm like, why are they all grouping up there? And why are they staying just in one position? But I'm not the only one seeing it. So now I can say, yay, I'm not the crazy one. So there you go. I'm happy to finally say there are other people that actually see these and have recorded these things. So if you've recorded it, now's the time to kind of say, yep, I saw it, and be all right with it, because that's kind of where we're going now. People are going to be more aware of it. People are not looking like the crazy person in the room. And the good thing about that is everybody's going to be at least on the same page with it. So if you've seen something, you don't have to feel like I have to be quiet about it. Because I'm not going to lie, for years, I've met people that say, I've seen something, I have something on videotape, but I don't want to release it because I don't want to look crazy. And I'm like, dude, now's the best time to release it, right? Because now you're not alone. What do you think, Jesse?
No, I'm just thinking, like, what would happen if the government said, aliens exist? That happened because we did the War of the Worlds thing. They saw how we reacted, and it was very, very poorly.
Well, I will say this. I think if I were an alien around this world, I'd be like, okay, there has to be a protocol in place, all right? And the protocol is simple. It's called Let's Make Sense. Let's let you know we don't mean you harm, but we're here to monitor the airspace around you. Because what you don't have the ability to do, we have the ability to do. You may see us 1 minute and then not the next because we have special ways of being here and then being gone, right? But we monitor the skies above, right? We monitor the airspace. You guys are going into the airspace. It's kind of like uncharted waters. If you think of space as like a different version of water, of ocean, we're kind of like, okay, if you're, how do I put this? This is hard for me to put, but I'll try to put it as succinctly as possible. When you are in the ocean, you are floating in it, right? Well, the planets, in essence, are floating in a different ocean. It's called space. We call it space, or black matter. When you think of it like an ocean, it's a little bit more controlled. It's not as like sway, like, oh, I'm so, right? It's a little bit more controlled. But just like you have Navy ships protecting the country or the area that you want to keep protected, or the nation, you kind of wonder if there is other life out there. Are there ones that protect us from ones that may want to do us harm, right? Nobody thinks about it that way. So without getting too like, because I know some people are like, huh? What are you talking about, man? This is a real thing. I'm going to go back to the article, okay? It says here, today we know better. UAPs are unexplained. It's true. They are real. They need to be investigated, and any threats they pose need to be mitigated. And these are not like stuff. Look, this is the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security, Ronald Moultrie, Scott Bray, Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence, who appeared before a panel today. So you're going to see a lot of information about this to answer questions from lawmakers. During his testimony, Bray showed video and images to demonstrate what observations, and these are unclassified items now that they're showing. But if you have your own thing, you can post it anywhere. I know some people don't want to post it because they don't want to look crazy. But if you have something that is unexplained in your camera, post it. You'll be glad you did, because you won't be alone, is my point. So if you see things in the next few weeks or months, just take a little photo of it, right? We got better cameras. I hate it when they take it with like cameras that you're like, dude, can you focus, please?
Oh my god, it's like every video footage of like, oh my god, a mysterious monster or UFOs.
Yeah.
It's like filming with a Nokia like 1600 or something, or
yeah,
it's like, oh my god.
Get yourself a good camera, man. Okay, we got to take a huge break. We got more stuff coming up right after our program. Download our app. It's free. KMET, 1490 AM. Bye-bye, everyone. Now, for those tuning in really quick, I just want you to know we're not crazy. This is a real headline. Okay, I'm going to bring it up because I think it's interesting. And I think, those that keep quiet about it are more sane than not, okay? Those that are kind of frontal on it are kind of like, right? I'm going to bring this up, this article, so you can see I'm not making this up, all right? And let's see. This is by Claire Ferrand. Actually, let me see if there's any more new news on this. Let's see, let me refresh this. And But this is a thing. Yeah, the Pentagon are showing videos of unidentified objects. Okay, again, this is the Pentagon. The Pentagon do not like to be stupid. Okay, they do not like to seem stupid. They don't like to act stupid. They are the Pentagon. Is this a PR push for a new movie? No, this is real stuff. So we're seeing it like history being made at the moment where they're admitting to it. Now, will they kind of backtrack and say, wait, what did we do? I think the answer is I don't know, right? Sometimes they do. They kind of go forward and then they go, wait a minute, put that under control. But at the end of the day, I guess the question is, are you ready for that information? And if you are ready, what else are you ready for, right? Because at the end of the day, back to the question on how old is the universe, what's beyond the universe of our universe, right? Now, travel like via maybe the space program, right, of SpaceX. You could get to Mars in about, I think, on average, what is it, like 3 to 4 months right now, based on the speed that they can go about. You got the International Space Station. There's people in outer space that actually say they see things they can't explain. And usually it's squashed, right? Government usually says, don't talk about it. We're not ready for it. And do I think that the majority of man is ready for it? No. I think the majority of man is trying to create harm and create nuclear explosions and kill each other. We can barely take care of ourselves. So what if, just throw this out there, what if a alien race or a non-human race or other species race were to say, look, guys, we want to share our technology with you, but we think you're going to make it really bad because we've seen what you guys do. You're not ready. Now, when you realize you're a more peaceful, loving people, then maybe we'll share this information with you. But you're not ready yet. I mean, look at how you destroy each other. Look how you kill each other. I mean, you're basically like you're the government leader and you want to kill another? Nuh-uh, not right. No. So what if they're observing what's here on the earth and they're saying, hey, we want to help you out, but we don't know how to help you out. And I say, are we ready for it? I say, that depends on the people you talk to, right? Because there's some that are like, no, we're going to shoot you down, right? That's what Navy does, right? They sometimes act that they're like, oh, boy, get out of here, guys. All right, we're out, right? But if you treat them as maybe like they know more than you do, they could have taken you out the moment they landed and are in your airspace. Well, do you really own that airspace when, you're part of a universe, right? So I think it's a little self-serving when you're the opposite end and you're like, no, we're the only ones that are here. And then there's that little, like, scared thing where you go, are they going to do us harm? Like you mentioned, right, like, there's movies like War of the Worlds and, like, what is it, Battle something, L.A. But my point is this. Maybe you just have to communicate a little and say, hey, guys, I get it. We're on the same page. You want good. We want good. We want people to add up. We want people to make sense. Let's just make sense together, right? Are we ready for it, though, as a people? No. As a species of Homo sapien, we are not ready, okay? We're just not. Are we ever ready? I think we can be ready when we finally admit we need to keep each other alive and we need to stay safe and we need to know that we exist. All right. But I see people go, hey, dude, we need to be careful of this. What is going on? If they're in our airspace and they have high, like, what's the word? Like stealth objects, or stealth flying objects. What if they have missiles? What if they take us out? Right. I see that. And I see what they're doing here. But let me bring up the article so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It's very official. This is happening today. Okay. Let me bring it up. It might slow down my computer here. But let me bring it up so you can see it. Hold on. But I think it's an exciting time to talk about this because now I could be like, see, told you, and not look crazy for saying it, right? Because everybody has a little, are you crazy? What's wrong with you, right? But I say, look, it's right there, people. Here it is, CNN. All right, politics, people, politics. As this key lawmaker warns that UFO hearing unidentified aerial phenomena are potential national security threat. Okay, let me play the video. Let's see. It'll probably bring up an ad. Let's see what it says here. Let's see if I can bring it up closer. It might mess up my...
A flying car combines the best aspects of a passenger car, a plane, and a helicopter. I'm Ravi Shankar, and we are Morgan Stanley.
What are we observing?
What you see here is aircraft that is operating in the U.S. Navy training range that has observed spherical object in that area, and as they fly by it, they take a video. You see it looks reflective in this video, somewhat reflective, and it quickly passes by the cockpit of the aircraft.
And is this one of the phenomena that we can't explain?
I do not have an explanation for what this specific object is.
And is this one of the situations where it is
Okay, so this is the Pentagon showing video of an unidentified object.
That's the object that we're looking at right there? Thank you. And is this a situation where it was observed by the pilot and it was also recorded by the aircraft's instruments?
We'll talk about the multi-sensor part in a later session.
Okay, so we're gonna pause this.
In this case, we have at least that.
We have at least that. Okay, so in other words, we're going to turn off the cameras and then we're going to talk about it together. I will say this. When they say certain things, it's interesting because they kind of like, this is a very official meeting, okay? This is not a bunch of guys just going, hey, let's talk about UFOs. It makes us look awesome. It's called, shoot, do we have to talk about this now? Right? So I think the question is, what happens next? At the end of the day, I say communicate. Just say, but don't lock up, the aircraft. If they crash, don't lock them up. That makes no sense. That makes you look like the enemy. Just say, hey, do you, need your... Don't, how do I say this? And I get this because people are like, yeah, but what if they're here to invade? I say, yeah, well, then they gotta invade one way or the other, man. Right? You all seen Independence Day. It's not hard. But look, at the end of the day, what if they're the opposite? Nobody ever considers the opposite, right? If they wanted to destroy us, we'd be dead already. Period, end of story. We'd already be slaves, right? And maybe they're keeping us safe from the ones that would do that to us. Who knows? I mean, how many different species are out there, right? You don't know. I know it's crazy talk. Well, it's real news. So there you go. All right, people, make it a great day, whatever you do. Remember, life is worth living. Don't forget, my book's coming out soon. A Butterfly's Story for kids everywhere. You're going to love it. I know you will. All right, bye-bye, everybody.